If you are here, there's a good chance you know that I have a minor Eurovision obsession. So, one thing I constantly get asked is A, how did I get into it? But also, what are the best countries to stan for Eurovision? So I will go through the list here. This is every country that has ever participated in Eurovision. I'm going to say which ones are the safest to go for, which ones are the safest to cheer for, but also which ones are the most interesting, which ones are the best, and who presents the best information to the world about what is going on. So, in terms of this, there's a couple obvious ones here that I'm going to say probably aren't worth standing. Morocco being one of them. Morocco participated once in 1982. They have not participated since, probably will never participate again. Unless something changes, it'd be awesome to see them in the contest in today's day and age. But being a very conservative country, I can't imagine that happening. But is it still great? The song was okay. It's the only country that will ever have just one solid placement instead of having an amalgamation of a bunch of different placements put together. So, is it good? No. Is it worth standing? I mean, sure, go ahead. But is it likely to return? Probably not. Same with Yugoslavia. Despite what Russia's trying to do right now, Yugoslavia probably isn't coming back anytime soon. Are they safe to stand? You know, they won once. A lot of their songs were pretty good. I liked them. So I would say they're okay to look into as like in the retrospective sort of way. Would I continue to look into them going forward? I would say probably not. So, moving on. Albania. Albania is fairly safe. They have a tendency recently of sending buxom blondes with big voices. They miss half the time. They hit half the time. Their most successful song recently was Mal by Bush Peppa for a couple years ago, and that's a great song. It's a really great song. But are they like likely to win? Are they safe to like go nuts for? You know, maybe if that's your thing. They do seem to be, like, they consistently do really good music. So, I think in that way it's safe to go for. So, you know, why not? Germany, however, Germany's very strange. I do not know what they're doing right now. They have a tendency of sending, bad songs. I mean, 2020, Violent Thing, that was a great song. But, like, follow that up with I Don't Feel Hate, and then this year with Rocks, like, I don't know what Germany's trying to do. I don't know what they're trying to go with here, but, you know, are they likely to win? Maybe. They did win in 2010. Are they likely to win again? Probably no time soon, in my opinion. Andorra. Andorra is the only country to ever enter Eurovision multiple times and never even make it to the grand final, which sucks for them. They could have done it. They should have done it in 2007 or 2005. I can't remember which one it was, but with the left, right, up and down, da, da, da. That was a great song. Definitely worth interesting. So they're worth looking into, but would I put my hopes in them in the future? Probably not. However, Armenia is doing very well for themselves. Rosalind, who just participated in this year's 2022, her song Snaps going big all over the world. So I imagine that Armenia is going to build some buzz over the next little while. Armenia does very, very well in the contest, and I imagine that they'll continue to do so. They consistently make really great songs, and I think that a win is only a few years away. So let's see what happens. Australia. Australia is one that's been bubbling under the past few years. Yes, Montang didn't make it, but that was only the first time, 2021. And mind you, she made it in on the 2020 version, of course. Like, that song would have made top 10, or the grand final top 10, I think, easily. However, this year with Sheldon Riley, it kind of shows that they're not as willing to take a risk. So, if Australia keeps this momentum, I think that a win for them is only inevitable in the next few years. Is that likely? I don't know. I don't really feel like they quite have the momentum to get there, but over the next few years, I absolutely think they stand a really good chance. Moving on to Austria. Austria here has a very interesting history with Eurovision. I feel like it's inevitable that they will win again. They have won before. But how likely is it in the next few years? I don't know. They did just win in 2014 with Conchita. I don't know how you beat that. But they do consistently make really great stuff. So I think, again, probably only a matter of time before we see them on top again. Azerbaijan, I feel like, is right up there with Armenia. They consistently make stuff that's really good, really interesting, and really engaging. They also have a similar sound to them, which is why I would almost group them together. But they do make really good. They do make really good songs. Even this year, I felt like their song was underappreciated. Not great, but certainly not one that deserved as much hate as it got. But we'll see. Belgium. Belgium for me is a country that cannot decide what they want to do. I don't know what they're doing half the time, but they send some interesting stuff, but some of the stuff I just have to say is boring. Some of the stuff is just not interesting. Miss You this year was definitely appreciated, but I would not consider it a great song. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say there. They are very inconsistent. Bosnia, a country that's not likely to return anytime soon. When they do, they don't do very well, unfortunately. They usually rank lower, even if their songs are still fun and interesting. Like 2004 In the Disco is actually a great little banger. And I think it's super fun and super catchy. But is it a great song? Again, probably not one that I would turn to right away. Bulgaria, however. Bulgaria is very interesting. They do a lot of really... Well, apart from this year, I don't think Intelligent Music Project was an intelligent choice. But Victoria was fantastic. And before that, they really were building momentum. They really were having that it seemed like it was only a matter of time before they hit something really big. So, are they as great as some other countries? No, but they stand toe-to-toe with a lot of them. They are one that constantly punches up in terms of their size to the quality of the song that they produce. Now, Cyprus, 2 years ago for me, would be an easy, top of the tier, they're going to get it. This year, their position is significantly weaker. I really like Cyprus. I've liked them ever since Fuego. I think Fuego is probably one of my favorite Eurovision songs of all time. But this year, even though I really enjoyed the song, I can admit there's some faults there. However, as a country itself, if you like dance music, they are probably one of the highlights to choose from. So definitely one that I think we should be keeping our eyes open for, or ears open for. But do they stand a great chance of winning in the next 10 years? I don't know. It would be a really nice time if they did, but I can't say for sure. Now we have Croatia. Croatia, I would put right underneath Albania and right above Austria. And the reason why is Croatia sends interesting music, but they do tend to play it a little safe. What I mean by that is that, for instance, this year they had Mia, whose song was lovely. It's a very pretty song, but it didn't really crack through or didn't break new ground. Croatia tends to send stuff that sounds safe. So I don't know if that's being entirely fair to them, but I don't see them really breaking any new ground in the next little while, unless this year's a massive shakeup, in which case I am more than happy to eat my words here. Are they worth getting into? Absolutely. Next up, we have Denmark here. Denmark is a country that sends... they always send something interesting, but the past few years they haven't qualified. And I don't know if their national selection process is helping them or hurting them. I actually thought Reddy had a really good song this year. I feel like it maybe just wasn't the right year for that style of music. But we'll see what happens going forward. Slovakia. Slovakia hasn't actually entered in a few years. And I can't see them entering again anytime soon. Some of the songs they sent were very interesting, but they didn't do very well overall. So I can imagine that they're feeling very burnt out, and I don't imagine them coming back anytime soon. Slovenia, again, always sends something interesting. I don't know if I would consider them a high-threat country. I don't know if there's one that I would consider being yes, this is one to look out for. But I'm happy to be surprised, so let's see what they do. Spain has had many years since their win, but after... this year, I think that they've shown that they are wanting it. They are ready for it. They want it to happen to them. In terms of the quality of their last few years, I would maybe knock them down right below Azerbaijan and right above Cyprus. But if this year's anything to go by, they want it. They're going to send some really good stuff going forward. So, I'm excited to see what they do next. Estonia is a country I want to like more than I do. But I would say that for me, they're currently sitting in right under Croatia. I didn't like Stefan this year. I didn't like Uke Saviste the past few years. I just feel like they need a change of sound. They need a change of style. And, this year with the country music, I can understand them trying to do that. I can see them trying to break through that little point where they just don't quite know what to do. But is it bad? No. Is it interesting? Often, no. It's just kind of good pop music. So if that's what you're into, by all means, I think they're a good choice. Stan Finland, just do it. They're awesome. They always send something unique. Usually heavier, which I'm okay with. I really like when they send that. It helps to break up the sonic similarity between the rest of the songs. So having that little extra boost of just hard rock, I think, is always a good thing. So, France. France sends good stuff. You would never know it this year with their score, but they send good stuff. Like, I feel like they're going to have a win in the next 10 years. They're another one that's just eager for it. But they back it up. Their songs are really good. And even watching their national final this year, I still listen to a couple of those songs, like, regularly to this day. So, Georgia's interesting. Do they do well in the contest? No. But are they interesting? Yes. They are constantly sending really wild stuff that no one else will send. And for that point and that point alone, I feel like they are worth the effort of investing in. Invest in Georgia. It's super cool. It's super interesting, and it's a lot of fun. So, definitely stand Georgia, if nothing else. Greece. Greece is a fairly safe bet. They produce really good music. Their songs are really high quality. Their performances are mixed, but they are definitely one of those ones on the upswing. Between Stefania last year and between Amanda this year, just with Die Together. Like, they're on the up and up. They're doing very well for themselves. So I hope to see that trend continue. Next up, we have Hungary. Hungary is a band is a country that's really interesting. I haven't liked all their songs, but I remember with the Jose Papai, Jose Papa? I don't know exactly what he sang. Origo, and it's beautiful, and that completely changed my mind on the whole country. So I don't expect them to see them in the next few years, unfortunately, but hopefully when they come back with more songs in that Roma style. Hopefully they come back with more songs that focus their attention on that world, because I think that's where things really shine and are super interesting. Ireland, they are trying really hard not to win lately. I like Brooke. I like That's Rich. It's not a great song, but I liked it. And overall, I do feel like they send something that's more on the safe side. It really does feel like they won the 3 times in a row, and now they just never want to win again. So, good for Johnny Logan for being the only 2-time winner. Good for Ireland for winning the most times this far, but Sweden's catching up, and they're catching up for a reason. So, yeah, Ireland is the country that has won Eurovision the most with 7 points. Notice that they have not won at all since they changed the voting. So since they changed the voting in 2000, where the audience started to vote, that's where things started to change for them. So we'll see what happens in the future, but I don't know. Norway, stand Norway. They're great. Subwoofer this year is great. Ulrike Attention a few years ago was great. I think every year they send something interesting. They send something that's super cool, super engaging. Kino, obviously a huge highlight for them. Yeah. Yes, they won last time in 2009, so it's not so far back that you can't remember it. But they send really cool stuff. They send really good stuff. I feel like Israel, up to this year, would have been like a high S. Like, yes, they do great. They're awesome. Listen to Israel. This year hurt them a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I really didn't like Mikkel Ben David. And the fact that the song is so bad that I think it's kind of tainted the entire... Like, even... I love Netta. Netta still makes great music. Definitely pay attention to her. But in terms of, like... I don't know what they were thinking this year with that song and that performer. I don't know what. I don't know. Italy, obviously, a high stand position. Actually, Bulgaria is way too high. I would say Bulgaria is like a low high stand. You know what? I'm going to drop them down to there. This year, Intelligent Music Project did hurt them a little bit. Italy's great. Always sends great stuff. Possibly, like, definitely in my top 5. Definitely one that you want to watch out for. Definitely one that you want to experience for yourself. So, Latvia this year proved that they are one to watch. I would keep them right underneath Albania. I liked this year with Eat Your Salad because it showed that they're willing to take risks. And I like risk takers. I think that they make things more interesting and they have a lot more fun. And even though Citizeni didn't make it to the finals this year, still definitely one of the more interesting performances and performers of Eurovision of the past few years. So definitely one to watch out for. Lithuania, Monica Liu really put them on the map this year, which was something that I don't think a lot of people were expecting. I would call them a rising star again. They've won before. Did they won? Yes, they won before. No, they haven't. They're the one that haven't won. Latvia and Estonia have won. But yeah, I feel like it's in the next 10 years, it's going to be their time. If they keep producing stuff that's solid and interesting, I can't see how that would backfire on them. Luxembourg will probably never return to the contest. Are they worth investing their whole, range of stuff? Maybe. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but we'll see. I'm not sure, but hopefully. North Macedonia, they do interesting things in the contest. I would keep them in the low C. I feel like their highlight the past few years has been Vassal, but not his song that he performed with, the song he initially entered with. I think is a great song. Their best performance was with Tamara with Proud a few years ago. Is it great? No. Is it bad? No. It's just kind of there. Yeah, not one that I would go out of my way for, but definitely not one I would turn away either. I hope to see them do better this year. Maybe the next few years they're going to build that reputation up. So we'll see. Malta always sends something that's very high quality and usually a lot of fun. This year I feel like was a misstep for them, but the next female singer that they send, I'm sure will do great. As long as they don't try to make it so safe. As long as they don't try to make it so bland. They made it really bland. Monaco, again, probably not going to come back into the contest anytime soon. But is it worth investigating in? I don't know. You make your own choices on that one. Moldova's great. Highly, constantly punching above their weight. Constantly doing really well. Dubsy Dub, I think, has been represented them 3 times. And each time they have progressed to the grand finals. They're cool. I really like Moldova. They're constantly sending really interesting, fun, quirky things. And it makes me interested in the country as a whole. So definitely one that I would say keep an eye open. Oh my god, I called Iceland Norway. No, Iceland's right up there. Norway is right there. So everything I said about Norway, Iceland. Oh, that's on camera. I can't even deny I did this. No, Iceland is great. Iceland is one of my favorites. I can't wait for them to win, and I think that in the next 5-10 years, they will. Because they need to have Daffy Flair be their interval act. They just need that. They need that to happen. And it's time that Iceland got its due. So I'm hoping next year they do some really cool stuff. Montenegro, I really enjoy what they do. They sound very Balkan. They sound very much like that big ballad territory. And I need to speed this up. Otherwise, this video is going to be like a million hours. Not that anyone complains. Yeah. I have no complaints with them. I think that they do really interesting things. And hopefully we can see what they do in the next few years, because I think there's a lot there that's going to be very, very interesting and exciting. Netherlands, good country to stand right now. They're still kind of coming off their high with Duncan Lawrence. Will they surpass that anytime soon? I don't think so. But they're still releasing really good stuff. They still make interesting music, and it's definitely a country that I want to keep my eyes and ears open for. Poland. Poland's building up a reputation again. I think that they're worth standing. I think that they have a lot of interesting talent, and they produce a lot of really interesting and engaging songs. So definitely want to keep your eyes open for in the next few years. Moving on, we have Portugal. Portugal does really, really well. I feel like Portugal would be... If you like the slower drive, I definitely think that they're one that's going to do really well in the next few years. I think they did much better this year than everyone expected them to, and I think that's due to the quality of Maro's music, who I get to see in a week or two. I'm very excited, as long as I don't have to work that day. I'm praying I don't. But I'm really excited at the possibility of seeing them, and I'm really excited at just them in general. I think that they make really interesting music. UK, I think, easily would have been a D class last year. I think that they've escalated to at least a high B. I think that their music always gets unfairly dogged. I feel like that they don't quite get the attention or appreciation they deserve. And I also feel like Sam totally came in and just obliterated all of that this year. So definitely check them out. Definitely keep your ears open. I feel like now that they've had that taste of success, they really want more. So I would say in the next year, I think UK is probably going to be higher. But for right now, I feel like they're in a safe space. Czech Republic has been making excellent music over the past 5 years. They keep entering and it keeps getting better and better. So I would say definitely keep your ears open for this one. If they're anything like We Are Domi last year, who got unfairly saddled, I will throw that out there. They got unfairly saddled and they did not deserve that. Do they deserve better? Absolutely. And I can't wait to see what they do next. So, moving on. I will say Romania. Romania is another country I feel like that beats up, that hits up. I feel like they're super interesting, super engaging. I don't know if they're setting themselves up for a win anytime soon, but I have to say I really enjoy what they've been making lately. I really enjoy their songs. And overall, I think that they are a country that's probably one of the more interesting ones to look at in this day and age. So, I don't know what this country is, so I'm just going to put that at the bottom. I also don't know why Netherlands is here twice. No, it's not Netherlands. This is Russia. Russia, I'm torn on because they're not going to come back to the contest anytime soon, unfortunately. But what does it say about them? As performers, I feel like they do interesting music. Politically, I don't want to saddle the entire production with them. I would say don't hold your breath for them to come back, but hopefully when they do, they produce the same amount of really interesting music that they were doing beforehand. I think that's all I can say there. San Marino. Are they worth standing? I don't know anymore. I would say after the few years, they are going balls to the wall. They are having fun. They are being silly. And I feel like that's something that Eurovision just so desperately needs. So, do I love them? Yes, kind of. But are they the best of the bunch? I don't know. I wouldn't say so. This is also Netherlands or Luxembourg, and I've got them both already. But I will say, supposing this was Belarus, I'm going to put them at the bottom. I feel like Belarus has had like one or two good songs that are worth investigating, but other than that, not a lot. Not a lot to go on. Serbia. Serbia is a little powerhouse. I would say that Serbia is right up there in terms of interest. I feel like they're easy top 5 material, and I would say that they're definitely one that I would watch out for more. I would watch more of in the future. So hopefully they keep producing that really engaging and fun content, and we get to see a lot more of them going forward. Sweden is my all-time favorite. They always make good pop music. Looking back to Lorraine, even in the 2010s, they won twice. And I mean, all it takes for them to win one more time, and then they've tied Ireland for all-time wins. But the Sweden wins have only come like predominantly in the past few decades. They've won every decade, except technically the 2000s. But even then, they won the battle of the all-time battle of the bands for the 50th Eurovision anniversary, where they entered Waterloo again and it won. So, has its special place in people's hearts, and I think that's where we're looking. Switzerland. They went from Gijon's Tears, which would have put them easy S tier, to Marius Bear, which is like bottom of the D tier. So I have to split the difference and say middle B. I'm hopeful they'll release more stuff that's the former, more stuff that's the former and less stuff that's the latter. Because Marius Bear is really not good. I really didn't enjoy that song, and I really don't think anyone did. So, moving on. Turkey. Turkey does great. Will they ever come back? No. But their songs are so good. Like, so many of their songs. They did win. Like, I don't, what can you say? And then finally, Ukraine. There's a reason that they're Eurovision royalty. They make really great songs. They have a lot of fun. They do very interesting things. So, if you're just getting into Eurovision, these are my 5 I say start out with, and then see how you enjoy them. And then if you want even more wildness and wackiness, this would be the next 10 to go for. So, until next time, this is a long-ass video, but hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. My name is Matti McLean. You can find me on problematic streaming platform Spotify at A Canadian in Eurovision. You can find me online on Twitter and Instagram at The Big Shabam. And finally, if you like what you've seen here and you want to help me out, feel free to like, subscribe. It really does help. And also, if you want to see me do something next, don't be afraid to tell me. Looking forward to hearing from y'all soon, and you have a great day now.